emerging sandalwood industry in Australia produces pharmaceutical-grade oil, highly valued for its medicinal and healing properties. Researchers from the University of the Sunshine Coast want to use the industry's waste as a renewable biological fuel. Well, more now from Dr. SAM VAN HOLSBEECK, who's the Senior Research Fellow at the University of the Sunshine Coast. Sam, welcome. So firstly, tell us about the scope of your research into the sandalwood industry.
Yeah, so our research is looking at the integration of biomass or woody waste from sandalwood plantations and how it can support circular economy and regional communities in Northern Australia.
So just getting into the specifics of it all, why are there two host trees needed to grow sandalwood?
So sandalwood is hemiparasitic, so because of its parasitic relationship, it requires a host tree to support its growth. So the more host trees we plant, basically, the better the growth of the sandalwood, which is obviously the highest value product that we are after.
What sort of response are you getting to your research from the industry so far?
Yeah, it's a bit of a trend in the industry at the moment, as the industry is moving into sustainability and forestry in general being recognized as a overall carbon positive industry, meaning that we sequester more carbon than we emit. We want to enforce that position, and any opportunity we see to utilize and work towards climate change is in support of the entire industry. So it's well received in general.
That's great. So can this type of work be used in other types of forestry plantations as well? Are there other implications for your research?
Yes, certainly. The situation with sandalwood is quite specific on the host tree. However, any type of forest plantation produces waste, whether it's smaller branches, tree tops, things that are not timber generally can be used as waste and are being used as waste. So whether it's going from a pine plantation or other types of plantation forest industry, it is certainly a trend.
So obviously working towards helping climate change. Are there other places of interest for you?
Yeah, certainly. Within the sandalwood industry, there's a unique opportunity there, specifically because it is a new industry, looking at how the productivity can also be increased. So obviously we deal with a large amount of waste that's coming from the industry in terms of the host tree. However, we can modify this and actually create an additional value for forest growers as well, getting just more and more out of their plantation and a better economic position as well.
And do you know the specifics of what the process is behind it all?
For the waste generation and processing, so generally speaking, the waste is collected at the harvesting. It is pre-processed at the plantation or at a central location where it then can feed into a market. So depending on what the market is like, it can be renewable energy, or it can be bioplastics or biochar. So generally speaking, from there you would go into the processing facility that would either do a combustion type conversion, so burning the material in a controlled atmosphere, and then turning it into either heat, power, electricity, or byproducts such as bio oil or biochar that then again have its own benefits and uses outside of that circular process, basically.
And how scalable is this whole process?
It has a lot of opportunity, so more and more interest coming from the industry, not only in Australia, but generally. When we are sort of considering sandalwood plantations, we are dealing with areas that are fairly remote, so you have some logistical some issues there and supply chain considerations to make. However, we are looking at an integrated system. So sandalwood is one industry in the regions, but there are plenty of other industries that would all have some element of waste production. Together, combined on a regional scale, they can offset quite a lot of the fossil use, especially in those regional Australian areas where the fuel, particularly the diesel fuel use is significantly higher. So any offset we can do there is obviously is a benefit for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. But how cost effective is it?
It is in early stages, specifically in Australia. And again, coming back to those logistical challenges and distances, of course, transport is the main consideration to have. So bringing it from the plantation to a processing facility or the market, the smaller we can keep these distances, the more cost effective it would be. But also technology is just constantly improving, getting better. We're getting a lot of influence from Europe and North America, where these technologies are widely adopted. However, the road networks are a little bit better and a little bit more condensed than they are here, but it is certainly a trend we will be seeing in the future. And there is a lot of, I guess, government and statewide government push towards renewables and offsetting the fossil fuel use. So it all helps and pushes it in the same direction, which is great to see.